Hi, this is Julia M. Spencer, real estate advisor, investor, and enthusiast. Today is the first Tuesday of the month, and we just got back from a tax lien foreclosure auction. And I wanted to give you a little bit of information on how the auction went, because I usually make these videos before the auction, and then I kind of get lost in the activity and action and don't give you a little bit of feedback. Today we actually had, today the list that we actually got, and I got this list a couple weeks ago. I kind of just get an update every week to see which ones haven't paid off. Today the list wasn't very long. It was maybe 4 pages long, which is kind of short. And as you can see, some of them have already been crossed off by the tax commissioner's office employees. That's what happens every time somebody comes in and pays off a tax lien before it goes to auction. So they're basically off the list and they're not going to be auctioned off like these ones and stuff. So we went through all of these prior to the auction, and we made sure that we understood where everything is. So my process is basically to look up the addresses, to look up the map parcel numbers, which tell me where in town that particular property is located, because there's different areas that they're located in according to that number. So if there's, for example, an area of town that I'm not interested in, I wouldn't look at that particular map number, because that's obviously not where I want to buy. So we filtered out the ones that we wanted, and I kind of put a little star or an A, B, or C next to the ones that I want. And as you can see, I had a couple that I was interested in. But I didn't get those, and I didn't buy any properties this time. And this will happen is that you do all this research and you go to the tax lien foreclosure auction, and you're just not going to buy anything. And what happened basically today, a little bit of a recap, there was at least 30 people there. And at least 19, or maybe even more than 30, but at least 19 people have registered to bid, including me. And what we had this time was a large number of institutional investors, or I would call maybe not institutional investors, but people that had a lot of money to put on the table. So the few couple places that I was interested in that were selling for starting bids of $2,000 or $3,000, they ended up going for $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, or $80,000. Now, if you're a beginning investor, or if you're just starting off and this is your entry point into real estate investing, you may not have that much in capital to put down immediately. And so this may have been an auction that you would have probably just went to observe and to learn. There was a lot of bidding back and forth. There was a lot of high-end bids. There were several properties that sold for $40,000 and $50,000, as I mentioned, and there was a lot of going back and forth. And it's quite. There was actually also a couple of no bids. So overall, I think there was maybe 30 properties. Out of those, 2 were no bid. Everything else was sold. And some of the ones that I was interested in that were going for $2,200 or $2,300, they auctioned off for about $30,000 or $40,000 or $50,000. There was one particular property that I was very interested in, and I wanted to pull that up on my screen here to show you. But just a little bit of a recap. The property ended up going, the starting bid was $2,500 right about. And the property ended up going for $80,000. The property itself worth about $120,000 according to the tax assessor's office property card. So as a summary, if you think of this, if the owner of that property now goes to the person that bid on this property and paid $80,000, they can do this today, they can do this tomorrow. They have to pay a 20% surcharge on these $80,000. So that means that the person that put down the $80,000 today made, as of today, 20%, which is $16,000. That's in one day. That's a pretty good rate of return. Now, of course, that rate of return decreases over time because they have a whole year to pay back that money, obviously, to get the house back. And but usually what happens when you start having the bids that go over half of the value of the house, then generally the people are looking to actually keep the house. So in this case, since the house is worth about $120,000 or so, they got it for $80,000. So they basically got a price reduction of $40,000, which is about a third of what the house is actually worth, because it's very unlikely that the owner is going to come out with $96,000 to pay the house back, which has to happen in cash. So I wanted to add to this video a little bit a look on the website, because I'm kind of curious after this happened. I want to go back and see what this property was like, where it was at, and why this person bid so much money on it. And the reason I'm saying is because right next to the tax lien foreclosure auction, there's the actual bank foreclosure auction going on at the same time, and there's properties that are selling for significantly less, where you get to keep the property right away and you don't have the 1-year waiting period. So I wanted to see what was such an interest in this property that the person is willing to pay $80,000 for a tax lien versus paying a lesser amount for an equal property that they can keep right away and there's no waiting period. So all that being said and done, look for the next video that goes with this video, and where I show you online to see how to research that particular property and how that particular person made that much money in a short amount of time, and if they do not get paid out, what they actually bought for their $80,000. This is very specific. You're not going to learn this anywhere else, and you need to go to my website. It's www.juliamspencer.com. The M stands for money. Download your free guide to real estate investing today, and I hope to see you investing soon. Thank you.
For your free guide to real estate investing, visit juliamspencer.com.